Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now we will discuss the size reduction of fruits, vegetables, or any other food commodity and its scientific importance. For the size reduction, specially designed equipments are used. For the fruits, the size reduction is mainly to prepare the slices, the chips, the shreds, etc. from the end product which we get after size reduction by that specific equipment. The procedure for the size reduction is as follows. First of all, the food is collected and that food is weighed and washed. After washing, the food is cut into smaller pieces if it can't be placed properly in the hopper of the equipment. Remember that the equipment which is used mainly consists of three parts. That is the hopper, in which the raw material is placed, the blade which cut it, and the discharge outlet which discharge it. The food is cut and placed in the hopper. After that, the machine is switched on and the cutted material is pressed by the lid, which is present and available on the top of the hopper. To press it to the cutting blades, to cut it into smaller pieces and to move it into the discharge outlet, and through discharge outlet it is poured in the water tray. The water tray is basically the tray in which some water is poured and the end product is placed in it, covered in it, and after that it is collected from that tray and is weighed. The percentage production is measured by end product divided by initial weight of the product into 100. That is the percent yield. Now there are two problems. The problem of heat transfer and the cold point. We may discuss the problem of heat transfer. Transfer of heat. There are two things which should be kept in mind while preparing the food particles. Number one, the consistency or thickness of the food commodity, which is cut it into small pieces and then processed. If it is thick, the heat will not penetrate easily in it. There are two theories of the heat transfer. We will discuss it in a while. And the second one is the cold point. The problem of heat transfer is basically made by two things, or kept two things in mind while preparing the particles. That is, if it is thick, the heat will not penetrate easily, and if the size of the particle is large, the heat will not penetrate easily. Now, if the particle size is small and the thickness is also diluted, is not that much thick, the heat will transfer easily. Second one is the cold point. Cold point is basically the point where the heat reaches the last while processing or heating maybe cooling the food. If the particle is too high, too large, the heat will penetrate slowly and gradually into the food. And the corners or the outer sides or the edges, whatever what you may call it, will be burnt, while the center of the food, which is called the cold point, will remain uncooked, untreated. So there is the availability, a possibility of the presence of some health hazards, microorganisms, etc., which can deteriorate, which can spoil the food, and which can make the food poisonous and can prove toxic. Therefore, great care should be taken while preparing the food particles, while reducing the size of the food, that the heat should reach to the each and every particle of the commodity properly, sufficiently to properly cook the food, to properly process the food, and to make it sure to extend the shelf life of the food commodities to provide it to the maximum population. This was just an introduction about the size reduction. Further later on, we will discuss it in detail in the upcoming lectures. If you have any question regarding these size reduction, please ask. And remember that we study your comments and work on that. Thank you.